I'm in the beautiful Pacific Northwest of the US today, and it's late July, and what we find in season now are strawberries. That's right, if you didn't already know, strawberries can be found in the wild. They're similar to the ones you get at the store, but as you can see, they're smaller. This is actually a decent sized one right here. But similar looking, but oh my goodness, they are so much better tasting. They're sweet and very soft and really just pack a lot more flavor than those store-bought ones. So today, I'm going to talk to you about where you can find strawberries and how to forage them in the wild. First, let's take a look at the strawberry leaves. These are the leaves of the strawberry. As you can see, 3 small leaves that are serrated and sometimes kind of on the shiny end. These leaves are actually an edible part as well. You can eat the leaves in addition to the red berries, and the leaves will be a nutritious source of vitamins like vitamin C. Now, if you are trying to eat the leaves, one of the best things to do is, as typical with green plants, you're probably going to want to get them earlier in the spring, depending on your elevation. But at that point, the leaves will be a lighter green, be a bit more pliable. And yeah, so you want to go with new shoots, usually with plants like this. These leaves can be just plucked and eaten, just like a green, but it will be on the bitter side of a green. And then you can also use the leaves in something like a tea. So you can pick them, dry them, crush them, and have them in a tea. Another strong identifier of a strawberry plant are these red rhizomes that run across the ground cover and connect all the different strawberry plants. Once you find a strawberry patch, you'll usually find a decent amount of plants running across the ground. So you can usually pick a decent amount of berries once they're in season. Wild strawberries like to grow in dry, disturbed areas, so edges of meadows, and particularly in places that have been logged, you'll find areas that have good exposure to sun, and that in the Pacific Northwest also get bathed often with some of that sea fog or mountain fog. So if you look in the old forest road zones on the edges of the roads, you're bound to find some pretty thick patches of strawberries there. Now, wild strawberries characteristically have these 5-petaled white flowers like you see here. And in the center, it's yellow. And that is what will turn into our berries. So now let's talk about those delicious red berries. Do you see any here on the ground? Well, yeah, there is one right up there. And as you can see, it's kind of more of a whitish color. That's how they start off before they get red and ripe. They're still kind of edible, but this one's not quite ready yet. So note that they will have this whitish, and then they'll go to a pinkish tone, and then they'll go to that red, delicious color. Now take a look again. Do you see any other strawberries? Well, maybe not, but remember, they hide under the leaves. So if we look right here, oh my goodness, there's a delicious ripe strawberry right there, ready for me to enjoy. Here's another decent-sized wild strawberry right here. That's a nice one. Note that while this is pretty large for a wild strawberry, they can get pretty big, but they don't get too much bigger than, say, like my thumb area here. But they're still delicious even though they're small. There's your wild strawberry. Now, you can pick wild strawberries typically sometime around midsummer. Right now, this season was pretty rainy in the spring, and so a lot of the berries out here, from strawberries to huckleberries, are ripening a bit later this season. This is late July, almost going into August now. Last year I was picking wild strawberries probably about 2 weeks earlier than now, and the huckleberries aren't even ready yet. Now down at the lower elevations in the coastal regions, you'll be able to forage these wild berries a little sooner, but up here in the mountains, I'm about 5,000 feet. It's certainly going to be later in the season, whether it's a wet or dry season. So somewhere around mid-July at the earliest, typically around mid to late July, and then possibly into August, but they do ripen fast. Something to consider with wild strawberries is how soft they are. As you can see, it's already kind of coming off on my fingers. These are really soft berries, so it makes it just a little challenge for, say, foraging and especially transporting quantities of them. You can just pick them off the plant and enjoy them, and that's really a great time. But if you want to use them, you can use them in things like jams and jellies, of course, and recipes. But just note that it is a very soft berry that's not going to last very long. Now, one thing you can do is consider dehydrating them so that you can have them in other parts of the year. Now, one thing you'll notice is when the berries are really ready, that they'll come off a lot easier. That one's close, but it did pluck off with its top. These will they'll almost fall off once they're totally ripe, but this one's still going to be super delicious.
So there you have it, a quick look at wild strawberries. They're certainly a low-hanging fruit, pun definitely intended, if you want to get started with foraging, specifically foraging berries. These are pretty easy to identify, pretty easy to find. There's an abundance of them, and they are so delicious and useful in lots of different things. So get out there, enjoy those wild strawberries while you can. They're already out there, they're already ripened for the season, and they'll go quick. I will be bringing lots more berry foraging soon, but I have to wait a little bit because the huckleberries are not here yet. They're starting, I see them, but they have not ripened. But within a week or so, stay tuned because I'll be bringing more berries, including those delicious huckleberries. So if you're not already subscribed here to Wagglebee, please subscribe and join me on the next adventure in the wild and in foraging and in enjoying this amazing bounty that's out here. I'll see you guys there.